Hey everyone, welcome back to the Social Paragon podcast. We're going to be talking about a lot of video marketing principles on this podcast, and today we're going to be focused on specifically kind of the evolution of the social media platforms and what has changed over the past few years, kind of where that started and where that's gone since. We're going to kind of deep dive into a few of those things. If you have any questions, anything that you want to know more about, you can reach out to us. We'd love to know other podcast ideas that you want to hear. But I'm Wesley. My favorite movie is Mad Max Fury Road.
And I'm Tyler. And my favorite movie is
Star Wars.
Well, currently I feel like it's got to be something golf, right? Tin Cup's really good. Obviously Happy Gilmore, because Happy Gilmore is
give a shout out for Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
I'm Jake, and my favorite movie is that's a tough one. I'll just be quick. I really like Inception. It's a good one.
That's a good one. Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. So Jake and I are both, we're part of the video team. Tyler's part of our marketing team. So we have a lot of thoughts on video, and we do a lot of video stuff. Kind of today, like I said, we're going to be talking about social media, the evolution of it. And what are kind of your guys' thoughts on how social media has changed in the past few years?
Well, I think we kind of have to talk about kind of how it's changed. We kind of have to talk about kind of where it's came from, right? I mean, Facebook was so revolutionary in connecting people across oceans. You know, it was, your grandma's friend who moved to Germany or whatever, right? That they could still talk to and message on a daily basis. And people could post stuff that they were doing. So it kind of named social media. It was very social. It was very, everybody was in everybody's business. I remember the early days of Instagram, even when they were posting like what they were eating, and that kind of started a whole movement of, the culinary arts having a platform. And I don't know, there was one point people were talking about bowel movements and, just dumb stuff because everybody just wanted to talk about what they were doing.
Is that what was popping up in your feed?
All the time.
Oh, I don't know what you were searching.
Yeah, I was on the baseball team, so there was a lot of the swim team. But yeah, it was very social. So, it's kind of interesting to see kind of where it's gone, I guess, nowadays. And I think we'll get into that a little bit later. But
yeah, I think Facebook, for me, at least when Facebook came out, I felt like more of a social aspect where we're trying to connect with people, right? Like I remember looking, even now today, I still kind of use it to like, what are these people doing? What are they doing now? Like I haven't heard from them in a while. But obviously now social media has turned into this place where we're only consuming content, right? It started with YouTube. Obviously people are watching people play games or streaming or things like that. And so instead of this, I still feel like Facebook is used for maybe an older generation to still communicate with people. But yeah, I've seen social media just change drastically in the sense of like everyone is on their phone with Instagram or TikTok just scrolling for hours just watching media. And so I think it's changed drastically.
Doom scrolling, man.
Doom scrolling.
So what do you guys have thoughts on why that came around, or like where that change came from?
Our freaking attention spans disappearing like gnats. I mean, if you think about like games back in the day, like marbles and that stupid hoop. Have you ever seen that hoop game where they're just rolling the hoop with a stick? You ever see that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. People would do that for hours, and that was like entertainment, right? But then we had movies that were hours, right? And then now we have TikTok, which I think kind of was the pioneer of leading this. You're going away from the social and kind of just going into the media consumption, right? It's 15 seconds of just nonsense, brain-numbing stuff that kind of distracts, right? But we just scroll and scroll.
It became like an on-the-go social media because YouTube, right? Everyone was pretty much on their computer watching YouTube, and then TikTok came around. They started pushing media, and everyone has a phone nowadays, and so they're just scrolling through it. And so TikTok became the pioneer of that and just started pushing media, which I think evolved into every other aspect of social media, from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn, to start pushing media the same way that TikTok does.
So do you think that that's like a consumer-led thing, or is it a platform-led thing that's kind of pushed this?
I could see both.
Yeah. I definitely think. I mean, like I said, TikTok kind of pioneered this, and it came out and kind of saw that even on Instagram, sure, like it was still kind of somewhat social, and you liked seeing what other people were doing, but there was a part of everybody who was posting that wanted to post the cool stuff.
Well, all the other social media platforms, they saw TikTok and saw how well it was doing. And so, I mean, to compete in the world nowadays, you have to stay with the times. And so every social media platform is like, we got to do this. And so pretty much, I mean, TikTok was pretty much YouTube.
Right.
And so now that TikTok was doing great, Instagram is like, okay, we got to start doing more media instead of just, or Snapchat is like connecting with people, right? Now it's more just, this is what I'm doing, or this is my new truck. These are my new golf clubs.
So
whatever.
So that's interesting because I see Snapchat. I mean, I don't use it really, but
I mean, how many people use Snapchat?
It's still used in the younger generation.
Yeah,
right?
the youngsters.
But I see that more still as a connecting one, right? More of a social one. Because what I'm thinking of the difference between like it being social media and more about it like consuming media instead. I'm thinking like when I jump on Instagram, the first post I see is not of anyone I'm following. The second post I see is not from anyone I'm following. Maybe the third one is, but then the next one after that is also not someone I'm following. It's just posts that have gotten a lot of traction, right? And so that's what I think of when it's like, okay, we're consuming it rather than being social.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's literally I'm not even interacting with my friends anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I think the difference is. And so that's why I wondered, like, do you see it as platform or consumer led? Because to me that's very platform led. That's Instagram, that's Facebook forcing me when I log on to not see my friends. They've made their algorithm choose what I see rather than me seeing the things that I have chosen to literally follow. Right. They're saying, no, you'll like this. And I mean, it's not like they're wrong, right? Like I still, I look through it. I mean, I'm more on YouTube than anything else, but it's there to say, hey, you'll like this rather than, hey, your friends are doing this now. So
right. Well, and kind of like you said, I mean, it is designed by the platform, and the algorithm is designed like that just so that you can stay on that platform for longer. Right. I mean, they don't want you to leave. They want you to stay there, and they want you to keep consuming, and they want you to keep right. So they make more money because it's just like YouTube. A little while ago, they were really kind of putting out, they were really liking 10-minute videos because they could put an ad at the beginning, middle, and end, right, without seeming like the whole video was an ad. It's the same thing, I mean, scrolling on Instagram. I mean, and sure, like you could scroll past an ad pretty easily, but I see, an ad every 4 or 5 videos. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's an ad and then another ad, right? And so if you're on the platform for longer and, a couple of hours, I mean, you're going to see 30, 40 ads.
Oh, probably more.
Yeah. Well, I've caught myself clicking on some of the ads because it's all relevant to what I'm watching too. 100%. So Instagram's like, this is what you like. Well, we're just going to put ads out there that are things that are related to you.
Targeting. Yep.
And
targeting
so I see ads and I'll click on it, even though they're annoying on YouTube and I hated watching those ads and I'd skip right through them. Some ads pop up and you're at least interested in, right? And so you'll click it. And so I think that's a big benefit, not just for a media aspect, but for a business aspect. Right. Business can be like, okay, I'm just going to push all this type of content, and Instagram's going to push it through.
And I think that's a generational thing too, because I mean, like my mom hates that. My mom hates that Google, Facebook, every the superpowers of the world know exactly who we are and what we like, right, and where we are at all times, and they're listening to us. And Alexa's always listening, right, and like, but you get to like my generation and potentially this younger generation, it's like, yeah, give me what I want. Like, I don't want to search for things. I don't want to take the time. I want to just be given everything that I ever want, right, just in front of me, right? Eventually it'll be like, oh, before I could see it, eventually we get to the point where it's like, oh, something's at the door. What is it? Oh, I kind of, I thought about wanting that, or I could see that I want this in the future, and it, kind of interesting kind of topic for maybe later, but it's all by design. It's all the algorithm to try to keep us to stay.
So how do you think that's going to affect businesses then? Like the businesses that we work with, right? A lot of smaller businesses. How does that affect their approach to social media?
I mean, I think it somewhat kind of makes it a little bit easier, right? Because I mean, to kind of be good at this now, content streaming platforms instead of social platforms. We just have to constantly create just one message, right? And if you're really good at that message, then, people will see it, right? Because people maybe they're searching for plumbing, maybe they're searching for a product that you have, right? Or a product type that you have. If you're constantly talking about that and social media knows you talk about it, it's going to share you more, right? So, it's super easy to just kind of stay in your lane and create, I don't want to say cookie cutter, but kind of canned information that's just about the same stuff over and over and over again. And, you could be found by a lot more people.
Well, they can recognize recognize the type of content that their product, like a plumber, right? There might be videos on Instagram that are related to that. And so they're like, you know what? I could just make the same videos and people are watching them anyway. So my videos are going to reach them, right? And so I think the idea of media being so easy nowadays that they don't have to create, like Tyler said, like a huge ad or something and take weeks on creating an ad that's an email or a graphic or whatever. And they can literally go on Instagram, click record on their phone, record a simple message that is about a problem that someone is having about plumbing. It will get pushed, especially if it's content that reaches certain pain points, right, of people that they have or questions that they have. If they keep doing that over and over, it takes 20 seconds to make a video. And so if they keep doing that over and over, then it's just going to reach their audience and they're going to get more viewers, they're going to get more business, and eventually, hopefully, they'll get more revenue.
So it kind of sounds like both of you guys are saying that this is opening up this easier for businesses, not making it harder.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it harder because media posting videos is so easy. So you have to outshine other companies. But it also makes it easy because instead of trying to find a way to reach your audience or reach your customers, there's such an easy way on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok to just post a simple video. And so I think it's easier to market your company with media now.
Yep. And instead of trying to go viral all the time.
Yeah.
And trying to get past the social aspect, right? And to be something that people aren't looking for, as long as you're doing the same thing all the time, your followers are going to see you, right? And so it's, and I don't know, I've heard a lot of talk about followers kind of going away, or like the number of followers, which again, kind of different topic, but I think if people are always talking about the same thing, it's just easier for people to find. And I think that we're kind of in like the swing of this whole kind of movement a little bit. I think we're further down the swing than a lot of people think, but take like geographically, for example, if a plumber posts something, Google still has to be right, regardless of social posts or social norms or social media norms or media norms, whatever you want to call it. A guy, if you're posting a plumbing video in Utah, or a tire company in Utah, like people in Delaware aren't going to see that really. Right. So there is some form of geographically locating or geolocating, geotagging or whatever that's going to be kind of a part of this for at least the foreseeable future for me. But, for the most part, as long as you're posting, about the niche that you're in, I think it makes it easier.
Well, wouldn't that be a good thing?
Yeah, no.
Because, I think like if I, am a chiropractor here in Utah, why do I care about talking to someone in Delaware, right?
Well, exactly.
I want that to be focusing on people here, right?
So. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, as and I get asked that question all the time, right? Well, there's a billion chiropractors that make content that's probably similar. Yeah, there is. And there's going to be a billion more that probably create the same stuff. But again, the geolocation for businesses definitely help with that, right? It helps so that, you can be found even in I don't know, I can't remember the statistic, the tens of thousands of hours that are being uploaded to YouTube every day,
So what type of videos do you guys think work best in this kind of platform, like in these more media consumption rather than community spaces?
My first instinct is short and to the point, right? The fact that most people, at least myself, is scrolling through Instagram, right? We're not stopping or searching for a video half the time. And so you really need to connect with your audience with a strong hook, and it needs to be super quick. I think it also, though, it depends on what type of video you're wanting to post. What type of questions do your type of consumer have out there, right? If it's about plumbing and it's like a really deep question about how do I fix my faucet or whatever, you're probably going to have a 10-minute video on that, right? You're not going to be able to explain that in 30 seconds. So, I mean, I think it really depends on what type of questions or concerns your consumers or your audience that you're trying to reach has. But my first instinct is shorten to the point, because that's most of the time that's what people are doing on their phone.
But I also think that we can shorten the faucet video, right? I mean, and especially with all these older guys that are plumbers and stuff like that. I think we're seeing a new generation of plumbers here soon, right? Just because
I like that we're
a new generation of plumbers.
Plumbers, I know this is that's what the topic is for the podcast. But anybody, any trade, right? Like, we're getting a new generation, but I feel like a lot of these old guys that are making these videos, even about cars, whatever, right? They take 30 minutes to explain how to change a tire, right? When you literally could have a quick video that's jack it up, put it here, right? Take the lug nuts off.
Well, it's almost like those ASMR videos, especially if you're changing like a tire and you're just like hearing the wrench or whatever, and then it's just like those super quick videos. Those are enticing, and I think watching those will be like, oh, who is this guy? And you go to their profile, oh, there's a longer video. Watch it.
Potential, but like, even that longer video doesn't need to be 30 minutes.
Yeah,
right? Unless you're
for sure
explaining something really complicated, right? But a lot of these old guys are just kind of long-winded, and they got to explain it, and they got to do this, and they got, and so.
Well, it's like your dad trying to give you directions, right?
Exactly.
You're telling them, where do I go? And they're telling you a restaurant, and they're like telling you to turn left on this, do this.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm just putting it on the
exactly.
Google Maps.
Yep. Send me a pin, and I'll be there like seconds, right? So it's got to be shorter.
All right. So if, like, you're a plumber, right? Because it's kind of what we've synced into, right?
We're all plumbers.
We're all plumbers.
What kind of strategy would you employ today then?
Information. Give information. Make it, make it usable. Make it so people, even if they don't need their sink now, like, and use stuff like ASMR, right? Like, you can use that, make a short video that kind of draws people in, but just give away that information. I mean, there's not a ton of information that you need to gatekeep nowadays, because it's all on the freaking internet. It's all there, right? And so give away information. I think that's kind of the biggest one, and make a lot of little clips, a lot of information, so that you're being seen by people who are looking up, hey, my faucet's broken, how do I fix it, stuff like that.
And I think a lot of people need to, at least people I've worked with in the past, they want to be viral, or they want to be like, I want to make a video on this, but I also want to make a video on this. And it's so broad. And so the algorithm of Instagram is going to push, like, if you're posting a video about, cars, but then also posting a video about, plumbing, the algorithm, Instagram's like, who do I push these videos to? It's so confused. And so, like, for plumbers, I'd focus on a certain topic or a certain problem in the plumbing industry now, and just keep posting videos about that.
So you'd only do like one problem.
Well, I wouldn't do one problem, but mostly like focus on one topic. So if it's like how-tos, right, for example, focus on how-tos. Don't do anything else, right? I would do that for at least a while, because then at least so the algorithm understands who your audience is.
Well, it may not even be just how-tos, but at least be pointed in the message, right? Like,
yeah,
if you're
same
a plumber,
type of message.
You can do, but like, you want the algorithm to know you're a plumber. And so that kind of gets rid of this whole content adjacent information. I don't know if you've ever heard content adjacent, but that's, for example, that's like a personal trainer that's focusing on weightlifting, right? He wants clients to come in and lift weights. And sure, we can talk about food, but we really want to talk about weights, right? Because otherwise people might think that you're a dietitian, right? Or Google might think you're a dietitian and doesn't know who to kind of share that with, right? Like, sure, I can, if I'm looking up how to get shredded, right? Sure, diet's important, but I want to know maybe different types of workouts to do, right? And if you're doing dietitian and workouts, it may not show you to me because I just want workouts, right? And so obviously there is still kind of that concept of content adjacent stuff that could work, but I think just really kind of staying super, super niche, I think that's really the important part of that.
I think the most important message from this is really, this is kind of when you're trying to grow your audience. I think you need to focus on that one topic. Once you start building an audience and your business starts growing, then yes, you can start diving into little things like nutrition, things like that, because people already know who you are. But I think for the algorithm's sake and Instagram and trying to push your message and get known, I think you do need to focus on a certain topic.
Yeah.
So for everyone out there, video marketing, that is our topic. We're niching into that. So
We're only talking about video marketing.
That's it. Sometimes
they made us do this.
Cool. Any other thoughts then? I mean, I know we have a few more things to talk about, but I almost feel like it needs to be another podcast, another episode. Anything else that you want to just talk about real quick before we come back another day?
I think that one thing kind of that this again kind of does is it makes it a lot simpler, not just for making video content kind of easier to kind of, or knowing what to talk about, but just the videos can be so much simpler, right? I mean, take out your phone, get a good, lav mic or whatever, and then just talk, give information, right? That literally can be a ton of videos that people are making now, just because it just needs to be pointed. It just needs to be about one topic, and the algorithms are going to start picking that up, and kind of showing you. And then obviously we can work on the quality, but at the beginning, just start posting stuff. I think that's and I think that we've even talked about that before. Just freaking do it. Just freaking post it. Just make it and post it. Doesn't matter really what it looks like, as long as the information is really kind of correct at the beginning, right? Again, everything's going to evolve consistently. And I think that everything's going to evolve, and the quality is going to evolve, and the scripts are going to evolve and stuff like that. And then that's when we're really going to hit the road running. But at the beginning, just make it consistent, easy, and I think that this kind of makes it way easier. So that's my final thought, I guess.
Agreed.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for jumping in with us, guys, and we'll see you next time.